Hey, what's going on, fellas? CollisionWorks here with another guide for you all, gentlemen. Today we are going to be breaking down how to read defensive coverages, pre-snap and post-snap. So let's get right into it. Now, this is going to be it's going to be in our U-Trips formation, pretty much complementing the guides that we've been making recently. But if you don't run this formation, it's completely fine. Some things may look a little different, but for the most part, this guide is going to be pretty universal and global. So stick around, might be able to find something new, something beneficial. So let's get right into it. So first, we're going to be going up against man coverage. I want to show you guys cover zero first. Let me just pick a random play out of U-Trips. We'll just do scat. So with zero blitzes, what you're going to notice here is it'll make sense when I show you guys cover one and cover two. But for zero, the safeties are going to be down a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. Right now, they're 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, and corners typically are always going to start about 8 yards off, as you guys see here from the 30 to the 20. Now, in a cover zero, your corners are going to be shaded inside and playing off the receiver's stop, okay? So when we see these safeties are always low like that, they're low because they're trying to play their man assignments, the running back and the tight end. So that's why they have to come down lower. Now, I'll show you cover two as an example to show you guys the difference, and we'll talk about cover zero as well. I'm breaking down cover two to you guys. Because you see, if I come out and cover two man here, the safeties are back deeper now. They're no longer 10 yards off. They're about 14 to 15 yards off. And even though the cornerbacks are still shaded inside, they are now automatically pressed in cover two. So the safeties coming down is really the biggest sign of a cover zero blitz, just because it's obvious that they are in those man assignments and they got to be close to the receiver to play it. So if you guys see safeties back deep pressed with inside shade, you guys absolutely know this is going to be a cover two defense. Alrighty guys, now cover one. The safeties will be backed up far, just like in cover two man, but we will have an automatic press by the cornerbacks. But as you see now in cover one, they will not have an automatic shade inside. They're going to be playing right in front of their man. They're going to be mirroring him. In a way that you can tell is if I go ahead and streak this receiver, the route is running right through their legs. You guys have probably heard this before in other YouTube videos. This is a really good way to see what type of coverage they're in. We see that the route is going right through his legs. We know this is going to be a cover one because those safeties are backed off. We have a defender right in our receiver's face. Easy way to read cover one. Let's go ahead and get to cover three. I wanted to break down man coverage you guys first just because I thought those principles with the safety should be instilled first, just because you're always going to play against man at some point. Now, let's go ahead and go up against cover three first. Now, cover three to some players might look similar to cover one just because we see that single high safety. But what we should know here is we don't have any press DBs, first of all. We see that the cornerback on the far side of the field where CD Lamb is, B, or hold on, let me get my other controller, I'm sorry. B, we see that he's backed off around 8 yards, okay? So that's typically what you're going to see an outside third playing, around that 8 yard off the receiver type of spacing. And as you see here as well, the slot corner who's matched on Cooks has a outside shade, and there was no type of outside shading with the cover one. It was simply just mirrored and pressed. So we see we have an outside shade here. That's how you identify the curl flat in the cover three. We see that the cornerback in that outside third is playing 8 yards off the receiver. No type of man look here. We see that the receiver's route doesn't go through his legs. It's going right outside of it, so we know we have that outside shade. This is how we can tell we're going up against cover three. Now we can run scat, our tight end whip setup, and all those plays we broke down in the U-Trips guide to beat this defense. So now let's go to cover two. Now cover two I think is pretty much the easiest to read, and it's because the principle's been around for the last few years. Honestly, for as long as I've known, the last 3 years it's been in the game. But for cover two, what we're always going to be looking for is typically every single down, I'm always looking at the safeties first. I'll look deep, I'll read deep, then I come down. But as you see here, the cornerback on the right side of the field, he's playing 5 yards off the receiver. That's typically always what a cloud flat is going to be playing if it's stock, or at least for the pre-snap, if it's not been adjusted into like press or playing off. It's always going to have that 5 yard depth. As we see the two safeties up top, we know that this is going to be a cover two. Another tell also is that the defender playing our slot receiver, he's shaded inside. So we know that this isn't going to be like a cover four where he would be shaded. We know he's not going to be on that outside. He's got that inside, which is a vertical tell. So he's not going to be in that curl flat. This is just a really, really easy way to tell that it's going to be cover two. We have that 5 yard cornerback backed off. We have those two high safeties, and we have that defender in the slot playing inside. Like, guys, what I was trying to say was with that inside shade, in a cover 4, you're still going to have that inside shade, but we know this is going to be a cover 4 because that far side receiver on Lamb is backed off 8 yards, and we still have those 2 safeties up top. So in a base cover 4, this is an incredibly easy read, breakdown to see. So that is what we are going to be seeing for cover 4. And one thing I'd also like to mention is if you guys are going up against a cover 3 seam, let me find that real quick. So cover 3 seam here. Cover 3 seam is going to be about a yard above, maybe 2 yards above the defensive line. So they play just a little closer to the receiver than in a curl flat. So just keep that in mind as well. Forgot to mention that. Alrighty, boys. Now what we're going to be breaking down is diagnosing the play post-snap. So if you guys are struggling figuring out what the opponent is running pre-snap, if they're doing a custom defense with custom zones, we're going to be showing you guys how to read the defense and see what they are actually coming out in. So I'm just going to I'm going to call this kind of like a burn play. So typically I'll come out in a running play, and I'll show you guys this against the zone. So let's say the opponent comes out in cover 2, okay? And we see cover 2, right? We see this. But let's say they put a safety. Let's say they put their right side safety in the middle third, their outside corner, and outside third, and then they just leave that deep half over there on the left side. So let's say they do a little something like this, okay? This is the defense. Now, it looks like a cover 2. Sorry, let's do something like that. Looks like a cover 2, right? It's set just up like one. But if they're doing this and we're reading cover 2, but it's a whole nother defense, we're going to struggle. So what I like to do here is I like to have a little burn play, typically a run, where I simply follow where the play art says to run. But during this time, I'm looking at everywhere a possible deep zone could be. So I'm going to snap this ball and I'm going to read the safeties. All right, so now I'm just going to move and just kind of run while I'm looking at these safeties. Immediately, what I see here is even though he's in a cover 2 look, I see this safety here on the right side of the field. Where's he going? He's going towards that inside. I know he's in middle third. This guy's in the middle third just like that. I know he's in there. Or inside quarter, okay? On this left side of the field, I see he's kind of dropping back at this kind of angle. I know this is probably a deep half. You know, it could be a deep half because he's not bolting anywhere. He's not trying to get back deep to an outside third. He's just kind of playing his half, okay? And then obviously, you know, this guy's making contact because it's a run. But, you know, I see the directions they're headed, so now I know if he's coming out in an inside or a cover 2, I know this guy's playing at middle third. I know this guy could be playing, you know, a deep half, things like that. So just keep this in mind. Running the ball and just simply reading the deep areas of the field can give you a lot of information. You can do passing plays out of this as well if you want. I typically stick to run plays just because it's safer. I'm not risking a sack or anything if I'm rolling out, trying to get the play to develop to gather information. Just know you can do that, but typically I'm going to run the football here. Now, before we wrap this video up, I need to tell you guys, this changes if they are going to be coming out in a cover 4 because cover 4 has different run fits. So right now, I'll show you a stock cover 4. Please keep this in mind. This is so important. In cover 4, because of the run fits here, the safeties have a different view of what the run is supposed to do. So if I snap the ball here, you guys are going to see the safeties are going to hesitate and then come down and play the ball. I'm going to go ahead and snap it. They kind of wait, hesitate, and they make a play on the ball just like that. So right there, I know, okay, they're in cover 4. This is cover 4. But if they change these zones, they change these outside quarters, and they do like, let's say they do a deep half left and a outside third. They do something like this, right? Oh, sorry, my apology. Let's say they do something like this, right? I know this is completely random. Just bear with me. The run fits don't change, okay? So this will not work if you are going up against someone who is basing their defense out of cover 4 and adjusting. As you see, even though they're in different zones here, they're in completely different zones. I snap the ball, they're still going to wait, hesi, creep down, and then play the ball. So just know, if you are going up against a cover 4 base defense that's being adjusted out of, that might be time to go ahead and do those passing plays. So gentlemen, I hope that this helps. This is something I'd love to do if I'm struggling. It can give me a lot of information. That way we know what we can call when we get back to the playbook, or we can pick up on what he's doing on key downs. So gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video of just identifying coverages and identifying custom defenses post-snap if we can't get a good beat on our opponent. I hope this helps. I'll see you guys in the next video. I want to try and do a breakdown soon of somebody from the event this weekend. So I want to try and break down a pro. I got to find a good game. If you guys have any recommendations of who you want to be broken down, put it in the comments. We had some guys recommending on the Twitch that we did a series like this. So shout out to New York Giants fan and our boy Ben. So see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.